Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Automation Tech Guru. So in today's video we will in last video we have seen that these 13 questions where we have seen what is the .NET framework and all the related to the .NET framework and C Sharp. So today we will start with these questions and we will go through one by one all the questions and then we'll continue. So let's start. So first question is, yeah, what is CLR? So this question we have answered in last session also, but again I'm just going through with this. So what is CLR? CLR is a common language runtime. So the term a runtime can be understood as a collection of services that are required to execute a given compile unit of code. It means that whenever you write any code for your new software, right? So that software should be executed using this common language runtime. Like in Java, when Java developer deploy any software for a new computer, they need to ensure that Java virtual machine has been installed on the machine in order to run their software. So same thing, the .NET framework also offer a runtime system that is called the CLR. And the key difference between the .NET runtime and other runtime is that just mentioned in that the .NET runtime provide a single well-defined runtime layer that is shared by all language and platform that are working in the .NET platform. And .NET provides a runtime environment called Common Language Runtime that runs the code and provide some of the services that make the development process easier. Compilers and tools expose the common CLR functionality and enable you to write the code in such a way that it can be used as a managed execution. The code can be executed in managed execution environment, and the code that you develop with the language compiler that target the runtime is called the managed code. So whatever code you have developed based on the language which is supported by the .NET, then it is called as a managed code. And managed code benefits from the features such as cross language integration, cross language exception handling, enhanced security, versioning, and deployment support, a simplified model for component interaction, and debugging and profiling services. The runtime provide the following benefits. So performance improvement. So as I said that whenever you run any software, any code which is basically run for the runtime, so it will improve your performance because it will be using the managed code and it will be working on a single platform. And the ability to easily use component deployed in other languages. So whenever you run any .NET code in CLR, so that code will be a managed code. If that code is a managed code, then it will be written any language can be utilized, and that component can be deployed in this platform. Third is extensible type provided by the class library. So whatever class library you have created in any language, it can have the intensive type. Language features such as interface, inheritance, overloading, and for object oriented programming. So this is also support for that particular language. Support for the explicit free threading that allow creation of multi-threaded and scalable applications, and also it will support the structured exception handling, custom attribute, and the garbage collector. And last is use of the delegate instead of the function and pointer for increase the type safety and security. So this is the CLR. Next question is what is the managed and unmanaged code? This question also I have taken in last session. So basically the managed code means that whatever code which you have written in any language, but that is support the runtime .NET platform. So it will be called as a managed code. But any code which is not developed or not support the runtime .NET runtime, so it will be called as a unmanaged code. And unmanaged code is required to execute in .NET platform. So we need some different kind of DLLs to execute that code which is not written in the .NET runtime. Next question. So what is the importance of the garbage collector? So in the common language runtime, the garbage collector serves as a automatic memory manager. So the garbage collector manages the allocation and release of memory for an application. So therefore the developer working with the managed code don't have to write code to perform memory management task. So basically garbage collector is a automatic memory manager. So whenever you create any object, and if you're not disposing that object in any manner, so it automatically collected by the garbage collector and dispose it. So in that case we the developer should not be required to write any specific code to freeze your memory from the system. And this automatic memory management can eliminate common problems such as forgetting to free an object, as I said, causing the memory leak, or attempting to access freed memory for an object that already been freed. So what are the benefits of the garbage collector? So the garbage collector provides the following benefits. First is frees developers from having to manual release memory. As I said that whenever you create any object, if it is free for unused or it is unused, then garbage collector just collect it and then dispose it, so that you did not need not to write any code which is required for the free the memory space. Allocate objects to onto the managed heap efficiently. So basically whenever you create an object, it will be the allocation will be happen on the heap, and that will be managed by the garbage collector. Third is reclaim the object that are no longer being used. So as I said, whenever the object which you have created but you have not used, it is reclaimed that object from the garbage collector and clears their memory and keeps the memory available for the future allocation. So manage objects automatically get clean content to start with, so their constructor don't have to initialize every data field. And next is it will provide the memory safety by making sure that an object can't use for itself the memory allocated for another object. So whatever memory is allocated for any particular object, it can be utilized for that only, and it will not be used by other object. So these are the some benefits of the garbage collector. Now next question, can garbage collector claim unmanaged object? So, although the garbage collector is able to track the lifetime of an object that encapsulate and unmanaged resources, it doesn't know how to release and clean up the unmanaged resource. If your types use unmanaged resources, you should do the following. So basically, whenever you create any object, or that is basically is an unmanaged object, and that is created for any particular DLL or any outside DLL which is not supporting the .NET framework. So in that case, you need to implement the dispose pattern. So if you want to release or reclaim the unmanaged object, then you need to implement the dispose pattern This requires that you provide an iDisposable.dispose and implementation to enable the deterministic release of unmanaged resources. So basically, you need to create a dispose method that will be the override method for the iDisposable interface, and a consumer of your type sale calls the dispose when the object are not longer used. So here you need to call the garbage collector explicitly to uh, free the resources which is used by the unmanaged object. The dispose method immediately release the unmanaged resource. And second is in the event that the consumer of your type forget to call the dispose, provide a way for your unmanaged resource to be released. And there are two way. If suppose you are not creating any dispose method, or you are not calling, or you are forget to call that dispose method, then there are two different ways to do this. So first is use a safe handle to wrap your unmanaged code. This is the recommended technique, and safe handles are derived from the system.runtime.inter interOpService.safeHandle abstract class and include a robust finalize method. So again, if you are not calling any dispose method, then you need to create a finalize method that will be actually a that will be the overriding method again. And then when you use a safe handle, you simply implement the iDisposable interface and call your safe handles dispose method in your iDisposable.dispose implementation. The safe handles finalizer is called automatically by the garbage collector if its a dispose method is not called. So you need to write the finalize method also. Or maybe second option is define a finalizer, and that finalization enable the non-deterministic release of the unmanaged resources when the consumer of the type fails to call iDisposable.dispose to dispose of them deterministically. So basically, whenever you want to dispose, whenever you want to reclaim the memory space for the unmanaged object, in that case first you need to call the dispose method. Other, if you are not calling that dispose method, then other option is you can use the finalize method, and in the finalize method you can call it, and again you can call the dispose method, and then you can freeze the space, and then garbage collector can automatically freeze the space for the unmanaged from the unmanaged resources. For this, there is a warning also. Basically, the object finalization can be complex and error-prone operation. We recommend that you use a safe handle instead of the providing owner finalizer. So, if you want to create any finalizer, that can be a complex, and that will basically whenever you run the code, maybe you will find some kind of error messages. So instead of using this finalizer, you can use the safe handles, that is the system.runtime.interoperate of services.safe handle, and you can create a this finalize method so that it can be automatically dispose the memory resources. Okay. uh, the consumer of your type can then call the disposable.dispose implementation directly to free the memory used by the unmanaged resource. When you properly implement a dispose method, either your safe handles finalize method or your own override of the object.finalize method become a safeguard to clean up the resources in the event that the dispose method is not called. So here the reference. So if you are, what is the your type and what is the description for this. If you are using the system iDisposable, define the dispose method for releasing unmanaged code. If you are using the uh, object.finalize, then provide the this will provide the object finalization if unmanaged resources are not released by the dispose method. And if you are using the gc dot garbage collector dot suppress the finalize method, then it will suppresses the finalization, and this method is customarily called from a dispose method to prevent a finalizer from the execution. So next question is, what is the importance of the CTS, that is common type system? So to define the rules that language must follow, which helps ensure that objects written in different languages can interact with each other. The CTS also defines the rules that ensure that the data type of the objects written in various languages are able to interact with each other. So suppose you are writing any data type which is using in in the C sharp, and then again you want to use that C sharp class objects in VB.NET or VB Visual Basic, then you can actually that data type can be utilized there also, and that will be basically written in based on the rules ensured by the CTS. So what is CTS? The CTS basically given assembly may contain many number of distinct type. In the world of .NET, type is simply a general terms used to refer to a member from the set of class. Interface, structure, implementation, delegate. When you build solution using .NET language, you will most likely interact with the many these types, and the CTS is a formal specification, sorry, CLS is a formal specification that documents how types must be defined in order to be hosted by the .NET runtime. It is a CLS, Common Language Specification. So that is basically a formal specification that documents how type must be defined in order to be hosted by the .NET runtime. Next question is difference between the stack or heap. Okay, the difference between the heap. So first is allocation and deallocation. So stack memory is automatically allocated and deallocated, whereas heap memory is manually allocated or deallocated by the garbage collector. Second is access. So the stack memory is fast and efficient, but it having the limited access. Heap memory is slower, but allow for the greater flexibility of the access. Third is order. So stack memory follows and last in last out order. So whenever you put anything in the stack, it will be last in first out. So whoever go last, it will come first. But heap memory doesn't allow any for not follow any specific order. The next is size. Size of the stack is fixed and pre-allocated, but the size for the heap can grow or shrink dynamically based on the program's memory requirement. Lifetime. Lifetime of stack memory is limited to the lifetime for function call, and the lifetime of heap memory persists until it is explicitly freed. And sixth one is the memory management. So system can handle the stack memory management, and the programmer must handle the keep heap memory management. So whenever you use the memory allocation, the system automatically or garbage collector automatically handle that stack memory management. But when you are using the heap, then the programmer has to explicitly handle that memory and freeze the memory from that. What are the advantage of the using the stack include? So the advantage is first, access time due to the predictable allocation and deallocation of the memory, that is the fast. Easy to manage due to its simply and deterministic nature. Memory is automatically cleaned up by the function is executed, means the garbage collector automatically freed it. Value types such as integer, float, character, struct are directly stored in the stack. And fifth is stack holds a variable exclusively defined within the function, not used elsewhere. And advantage of the heap. So heap does not have any limitation for the memory. So its large memory size allows for storing object with the longer lifespan. If you want to use any kind of object which can be required for longer time, you can use a heap. Dynamically memory allocation allow for the efficient memory use as it's grow and shrink as needed. It also allow us to access the variable globally. So for the stack, it will be available only within the function, but the heap can be allowed is the globally. The variable can be utilized in globally. You when you define a value type in a class, that value type will store in heap memory. Array, classes, objects, and static variable are stored in the heap. No need to no need for manual memory management, as the .NET Runtime automatically perform garbage collector on heap memory also. Okay, disadvantage for using the stack. So using a stack can come with the some drawback also, that is limited memory size, that leads to risk the stack overflow if too many objects are created on the stack. Then second is we cannot access element in the middle of the stack. It is only possible through sequential access. Limited functionality as it's only support LIFO last in first out operations, making it unsuitable for the specific data structure. And last is slow performance compared to the other data structure like array, linked list, or hash table. And it required for more memory operation for adding and removing element. Disadvantage for the using heap. So the disadvantage is limited memory size lead to the risk of the. So basically disadvantage is the it having the memory so many memory spaces, so it will require to the cleanup, and we can and it is sequentially used, so we cannot use the LIFO also, and then the performance is reduced because of the memory allocation. Okay, and when to use the heap or stack in C sharp. So in C sharp, you should use the stack for the data with the short lifespan or a small memory footprint, such as local variables, function call parameters. The stack is a LIFO data structure that is fast and efficient for the temporary storage. On the other hand, you should use the heap memory for the data longer lifespan, potentially large memory footprint, and such as object created within the new keyword. The heap is dynamic memory allocation structure that provide a large memory size for storing object but can lead to slower access the time and fragmentation over time. Then so same thing we already discussed in previously, that the difference. So stack memory, if we're talking of the allocation automatically managed by the C# runtime, require manual memory management. Speed, stack is fast and efficient. Heap is slower, and purpose storing the temporary data such as function call. It is store the longer data. Data structure, it is a ideal small or temporary data structure. It is a suitable for the large or dynamic data structure. And accessibility, it is a limited for the functions to create that, or it will be a the heap can be multiple function threads can be accessed through globally also. What are the value type and reference type? So the main difference of the value type or reference type is the characteristics. So the storage allocation, the same thing. Value type will be stored in a stack, but reference type will be stored in heap. And default initialization, value type can be 0 or null, but the reference type will be always null. Then assignment behavior, it is copied value, and reference type will be copied as a reference. Equality comparison, this is the y value. Whenever you create a object or create a parameter, it will be a y value, but this will be the y reference. Conversion between the type, it will be implicitly or explicitly, and this is also implicitly or explicitly. The example is for the value type, that is integer, float, bool, struct, but in the reference type you can have the class, interface, array, string. These are the reference type. So what is the basic difference between the value type and reference type? So storage allocation, So I just I will explain these things in some manner way. So you can see there. So value type are stored directly in the stack, which is memory used for holding local variables and function parameters. But store type, reference type basically stored in the heap, so which is where dynamically allocated objects are kept. And default initialization value type are automatically initialized to their default value that is created, and it is initialized for the zero and float or maybe null. But the reference type automatically initialized to the null. The equality comparison. So when we compare two value type using the double equal to, it compare the actual value, but when we compare the reference type, it only compare the reference to the object. It will not compare the value. It will compare the object reference. Conversion between the type, we can convert the value to the another value type either explicitly or implicitly, but implicitly conversion or explicitly type conversion. But the reference type can also convert it the either side, explicitly type, but these conversions are usually more limited. And then memory management, value type are automatically removed from the stack memory when they go out for the scope, while reference type require a use of a garbage collector to be removed from the heap. Namespace in C# value type are derived from the system.value type, and while reference type derived from the system.object. Inheritance value type are allowed to inherit from any other class or instruct, but with the exception of interface. But on the other hand, a reference type can be inherited from other classes or interfaces also. Example, a common example for value type integer float bool struct, but the reference type are class interface array and a string. So before going further, since this is basically required some kind of code, so we need to go to the Visual Studio and we'll see how we can write these codes. So before that, what we can do, we can I'm just let you know how we can get the Visual Studio, how we can install it, and then we'll go further. So first we need to go to the Microsoft. Just you can search the Visual Studio 2020, and maybe you can just put the download also for Windows 10. So you can go this visualstudio.microsoft.com. You need to search for the Visual Studio, and you will see the download option. So there are three options available. One is community, that will be the free download. Professional, and that will be the free trial, so you will get 1 month trial. And enterprise, that is also will get the 1 month trial. But if you want to use Visual Studio without any issue, then you can use the community version, and this will be the free download and it can be used anytime. This is basically purely free, but for the professional and enterprise it is not free. So when you click on this download free, when you go to the free download, then you will see the option here for the download. So you can see this, you will see the setup. Once you click on this, just go to the show document, so in the folder, and this is basically installer. So whenever when you double click on this, you will get the installer. So so it's saying that Visual Studio installer, before you get started we need to set up for a few things for that can be configure your installation. So basically, in my machine Visual Studio already installed, that is the community version. So that's why it is asking for this. If I open the Visual Studio from here, so you can see here Visual Studio 2020 already installed here. Yeah. So once that installer is installed, you will get this option. Oh, sorry, I think you are not able to see this. So let me showcase this. Okay, now, so I already installed it. What I did, I'm just again showing you. So what you need to do, you need to go to the, let me recall this. I think it is not displayed to you. So first you need to search for the Visual Studio 2020 download for the Windows 10. And once you search it, you will see this download Visual Studio tools installation for free. So when you click on this link, it will give you the three options to you. One is this community, professional, and enterprise. So if you want a free .NET, so you can just download the free community version. But if you want uh, professional or enterprise version, that will give you 1 month trial. After that you need to pay for it. So mostly we can use the community. It will have all the necessary templates which will allow you to create the projects. So once you click on this, it will ask for the installer. So you just showcase in this folder. It will download this Visual Studio installer. Once you click on this, you will see this option, Visual Studio installer. And see, it's already installed. If you see, this is already installed. So if I want to modify or something, so when I click on this, you will get this page. Let's wait for some time. So these are the components which is available for the .NET community version. So if you want to create any web development, ASP.NET, if you want to work with the Python development, if you want to use the Azure development, Node.js development, then .NET desktop development, and .NET multi-platform app UI development, or universal window platform. So there are lots of options which is available for you. You just need to select these things. If you select everything, it will give you the space here. So based on the space availability on your laptop or machine, you can select these options. And once you select these options, you can have these two options, install while downloading or download all and then install. Once you select these options and then continue, since it is already installed in my machine, that's why it's not giving my any option to it. So it will ask for the install. Once you click on it, it will start for the installation. Once the installation is completed, what you need to do, you just need to go to the menu, and here you can search Visual Studio 2020, and you can open this. So right now I already opened it, I already installed it, so I'm just opening from here. So you will see the option clone a repository, open a project, open a local folder, or create a new project. So what I will do, I will just create a new project, and when you go to the new project, you can see the different project platforms, templates. So there are multiple templates available. So what I will do, I just create one console application, select here, and you will see you can give any local path which you want to give. So I will give the C drive only. Directly I will select the C drive, and then you can have the name of this. So I will give this the C sharp. Okay, C sharp training, and I will create this. So when you go to the next, it will ask for the .NET framework. So you have two options, .NET 3.1 or .NET 6.0. So I will use the .NET 6.0 and I will create this. So now we will go back to the code. So here what we are checking here, so the value type and the reference type. So in the value type generally is stored in the stack. That's already I have given the information, and does not carry a reference. Instead of it is stored the actual value. So how we will create this value type, I will show you here. Okay. So this is already open here. I will click this, and this is the program class. And if you see, this is the program class. Now if you just using this using class program, and you can use this code. So basically this class, actually this doesn't have this main function. Instead of this, I can just copy this one. Okay. So here what we are doing, here integer x value is equal to 10 and y value is equal to x, and I increasing the y plus plus, and then we will writing the console value in the console, x equal to y equal to. So if I run this using this, it is saying one failed. What is the error? Okay, I think this main is giving the error, but yeah, now you can see here. So it is saying exited with code 0 automatically close the console. I think this is not required, and this is also not required. So now I will run this. You can see x value is 100 and y value is 101. So basically we created the object, the integer variable and y variable, and I'm just increasing y plus 1. So it's just a value type, so it is giving the actual value. Now if we will run this program, and for the reference type, if I create this, okay, this class first. So what I will do, I just create one class here. Okay, this is the class user. Public integer is equal to 10. And now what I will do, I will create object for that particular class here in the main. So instead of this, I just remove this one and I keep this. So what I will do, there is a user class. I create object of the user, user equal to user1 new user, and user2 equal to user1. And then I'm writing in the console, and user dot age equal to 20. First I will writing the 10 and then 20. So how it will change? So let's run this. Okay, I need to close this first. Again I'm running this. So now you can see user age equal to 10, user age equal to 10. But again, when I change the value, it got changed the value. It means that it is stored in somewhere in the memory allocation. That's why the value got changed. So same thing I have written here also. So this is the value type and reference type. Now next question is explain the voxing or unvoxing. So voxing is the process to converting a value type to the reference type or any interface type implemented by this value type. When the CLR voxes the value type, it wraps the value inside the system.object instance and stored it on the managed heap. And unboxing extract the value type value from the object, and boxing will be the implicit boxing, and unboxing, when we are doing unboxing, it will be the explicit. So the concept of boxing and unboxing underlying the C-sharp unified value view of the type system in which a value of any type can be treated as an object. So boxing basically used to store a value type in the garbage collector heap, and boxing basically is an implicit conversion of a value type to the reference type or object type, or any reference type implemented by this value. Boxing is value that allocate an object instant on the heap and copy value from the new object. So if I take this object example, I just copy this and I just remove this everything from here to here. I'm just focusing you how this will convert. So what I did here, integer I equal to 123, okay, and then I create a object O and I assign value to the I. So this is the boxing. Okay, now the object can be unboxed and assigned to the integer value I. Unboxing is an explicit conversion. So if you want to convert this, suppose I'm having the integer O equal to 1 2 3, and now okay, O already there. So I just comment out this thing. Okay, now what I will do, I equal to, suppose I already having integer, so I equal to I just typecast this int and then O. So it means I'm just typecasting the I value using the object O. So this is the unboxing. So I think for today we already gone through these questions. And so what we have seen today, what is CLR, how what is the managed code, then what is the garbage collector, how we can use the unmanaged code, claim the unmanaged object from the garbage collector. Then we have seen what is CTS and CLS. Then we have seen the stack and heap difference, and also we have seen the value type and reference type. After that, I showcase the explain boxing or unboxing. So I think for today we have gone through these questions. I hope you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.